test with for when you were first starting out as a makeup artist? Like photographers and models?
Let me think back.
We didn't have model mayhem then, so it was more just word of mouth.
I first met people through college. You know, you meet the photographers. Basically, you just have to build up. You start off with the people you learn with, and then you maybe get a job on a counter, and you meet people through that. And if you meet those people and you test with them, and you stay testing with them, and you grow together, eventually they'll be in a position to employ you. And that's how it works. There isn't an easy way to get there. You have to test, and throughout your career you'll have to test as well, because very rarely or very few makeup artists end up doing the kind of work that they can put in their books. Because
to get paid for.
Yeah, I mean 90% of the work you do will just be making someone look natural, and that won't really sell you all the time. So you're always going to have to test. But yeah, I mean now there's websites like Model Mayhem, where there's lots of photographers and lots of models, everybody looking to test, and that's, I mean, you do get a lot of time wasters on there as well, but you can get some really good shots. I've definitely hooked up with people on there and got some great stuff out of it.
Also, if you're assisting, then quite often there's other people that are assisting that are photographers in the making, so it's quite good to get on with everyone that you work with and make little links there, and then they may say, oh, can I shoot with you? And then you'll be able to get there that way as well.
Does it make any difference what school you go to, what makeup school?
If I'm completely honest, no, I don't think so. What makes the big difference is you. It's how driven you are and how artistic you are and how much you want to succeed. I mean, you could go to a great school and get a great education, or you could go to, you know, not a great school and assist someone brilliant. It's almost what you do after that's going to make the big difference.
How did you ladies, or what courses did you study to get your qualifications? Are you formally trained or are you self-taught?
Yeah, we're formally trained. We went to our local college in Norfolk. We both went to the same college. And if you know Louise Young, who makes the brushes, she actually taught me makeup. But our aunt is a makeup artist, so we assisted her. And yeah, I mean, we did a 2-year course. Probably don't need to do a 2-year course because I think you will learn more on the job than you will on a course, don't you, Nick?
Well, yeah, we did a BTEC National Diploma, which is what it was called, and literally it was a bit of everything. And you also had to do wig making, hairdressing, and like finances. I was like, I don't know, what do I need this for? I just want to put makeup on faces. So I would say, yeah, you probably learn more from going out there and working. It's good to do a course, but just to get the basics and know what products work and stuff like that.
But I don't think any course can teach you things like set etiquette, like, you know, when to go on set, when to powder, how to communicate with people. That's just, you know, stuff you learn from working and assisting and watching other more experienced makeup artists.
I'm 14 and I want to be a makeup artist.
Aww.
So how would I go about getting out there and like sort of doing it?
Now I'm not sure if do you get to go to college for free these days? Do you get grants? Because when we left, when we left, that was a long time ago. If you can get on a course straight away, do that for a couple of years. Because the thing is, because you're 14, by the time you finish your course, you know you'll be 18. It's very hard when you're young to be taken seriously in this industry, because think about it, if you're doing someone's makeup, they're like, wow, you're so young, how can you possibly know? You know, and also you have to communicate with people who might be 50, 60 or whatever. I would say, go to college, enjoy it, you know, study as hard as you can, and then afterwards start testing, take your time, you know, but put everything into it. Get on Model Mayhem, probably not yet, wait a couple of years for that.
You can get yourself a YouTube channel as long as your parents don't mind, you know, and just practice is the best way. And I would agree with Samus to do a course too, because I think as well, at 16, it's quite young to, you know, go out there and do it, to have the confidence. So I would do a course for a couple of years so you get the confidence behind you.
I remember when I was 16 and I went backstage with my aunt, who we said was a makeup artist, to do a fashion show, and Yasmin Le Bon was there and a bunch of other big models, and I was doing Jodie Kidd's makeup, and she was only 16 or something then, and honestly by the end of the day I was in tears because everybody there frightened me, totally frightened me, because fashion is a very frightening industry to be in if you're not ready. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
A question about London Fashion Week that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, I believe. What's the best way of getting work there? Would it be to sign up with an agent, or...?
Mac kind of have that tied up.
Sorry?
Really, Mac tend to have that quite tied up because they do a lot of the shows and then they take teams along. But I would contact all the big agencies. Again, just get your name put on the overflow. They may want to see you book, but sometimes they don't. They'll just call you and just go, right, we're desperate.
Thank you.
Hiya. How important is it to know about hair as well as makeup?
You kind of pick up stuff on the way, although we did hair at college.
When you're starting out, you should. If you want to do freelance, yeah, definitely, because especially now with the climate the way it is, they don't want to pay for a hairdresser and a makeup artist, so it is important. If you can learn it. Don't just think it's a cop-out, it's definitely worth learning. I mean, the higher up you go in the makeup hierarchy thing, the less you need to know it, you know, because the bigger the budgets get, and, you know, there's amazing hairdressers that they want to get on, but I definitely think if you've got the time.
I'm at college just now, and I'm in my second year, and we're doing a graded unit. And I wondered, our lecturers place a lot of importance on you trying to get an A, you know, this is so important, this is going to get you a job. In reality, does it really matter? Like, you know, is it not your skill, or would an employer overlook you for someone who had a higher grade? Just say, like, you know, how much importance is there on this?
I think if you've done a course, you should try to do the best that you possibly can in that, because it will reflect on you. So if someone sees that you've done a course and you didn't get amazing results, then that would reflect. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't put your all in it, and you'd probably be disappointed in yourself. But if you didn't do one, I don't know how much more important it would be. Does that make sense? So I think if you're going to do something, you should give 110% to what you're doing. Because if someone looks at that and they think, well, she didn't pass that, it might look badder on you. But if you didn't do any of it and you're going there with nothing to show, then they have nothing to put it against. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Although I was rubbish at college. So,
yeah, it's difficult to say because I didn't even turn up to my wig making exam because I just knew I wasn't going to do it. So I didn't go.
but I think when you're 16, it's really hard. I think it's completely different if you're paying for something. You know, when you go straight from school, it was like, okay, what can I do that is kind of easy? And I can paint people's faces. Okay, I'll do makeup. But actually, you don't realise how difficult it is in the long run. But if you're paying for something, it's a whole nother kettle of fish. If you're paying for a course, then you want to do it as good as you possibly can because you're putting money to that.
Yeah, I think it is important to remember when you go on a college course or a makeup course wherever, if you went to one or you went to another, each tutor is going to teach differently, and there isn't, I don't think, there is a right way of doing it apart from the hygienic way. You know, as long as your hygiene is great, then how you get to the finished result shouldn't matter, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it looks, as long as it looks great, it shouldn't matter. So I always have a problem with someone showing me, well, this is how you do it, because I don't think that's how I want to do it. I want to do it my way. That's why I have a slight problem with authority, I guess.
How would you go about finding people to assist?
Well, it is difficult because everybody wants to assist someone, and if you can assist someone really good, then it could be the making of your career. Say you assist Val Garland, you're not the next Val Garland, but you're the next big makeup artist, you know? So it does depend who you assist. But when you're starting out, if you want to assist, the best way to do it is to contact the makeup agencies and get them to put your name on their books as an assistant. And then you can, sometimes they might call you up last minute and say, you know, we need someone for Fashion Week, can you be here in half an hour? And if you go and you get there, you'll get more work. And it really is like that. Basically, you should always have your train fare. Even if you can't afford to eat, you have your train fare. Because if you say no, they will never ask you again, ever. And that's the way it is.
Well, if you do, how do you present your ideas on paper?
Present our ideas on paper for a shoot, or
just in general, maybe for a brief, or
if I was going to, then I'd use a face chart. But generally, I don't. Generally, what happens is if you're doing a shoot, they'll give you a brief and a bunch of shots of other things that you kind of take the inspiration from, and you just come up with it.
Normally just take magazine clippets with you, so that if someone says something, then you can flick through and see. Normally, if you're doing a shoot, they'll refer to an era. You want a 20s with a 60s eye, 20s lip, you know, so it's really important to know your eras, because that's where all makeup really comes from, through the times.
So you can put your name down and they could call you last minute. I've been doing it since I was probably 16, I'm now 29. I've been doing that kind of thing, doing wedding makeup in my spare time. At what point do you quit your full-time job, which I've got because I've got bills to pay, and say, right, I want to be a makeup artist. You know, if somebody called me and said, we want you tomorrow, I don't know if I could get that time off work, and that's my, you know, at what point did you guys say, right, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, we did it through YouTube, so it's different for us. You know, we assisted and we worked and everything like that, but we didn't make it in that way either. We went onto YouTube, so you know, having an answer for that is really tough.
Well, not for me. I was really lazy up until I was about 24, I would say. I worked at Mac on the counter, and then I went part-time and had a few spare days, and we were all really good mates in there, so if you had a job come in, you'd either call in sick or you'd get someone else to cover your day, but mostly call in sick. And then I left Mac to go to another job, and then I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, that's when I realised, right, okay, I literally have maybe 7 months to get myself sorted. And so I just got my book together in about 3 months, got an agent, and then that was it. I mean, all I needed was that push to know that either I was going to work on the counter for the rest of my life, which I couldn't have done with a child, or, you know, I had to make the move, and it was as simple and cut and dry as that. You know, I just was like, right, okay, well, this is it, I've got to get on with it. Got my book together, tested for about 2 weeks solidly every day, and then went out there. And then I did that for, I don't know, how many years did I do that for before? I think maybe about 3 years. I was freelance until I came home to Norwich. But yeah, I think a lot of it is motivation as well, and it is scary, definitely. But I think maybe it sets up for the juggling that we do now, because when you are part-time, are you part-time or full-time?
Yeah, I kind of do like weddings.
Is it in the makeup shop that you work, or?
No, I've done all the counters, I've done that, and the pay was very good, so I left. And now I sort of do weddings pretty much every weekend, or doing something similar. And people say, you should do this full time. Yeah, I'd love to, but I've got bills to pay, you can't guarantee you're always going to get that job. So I think would an agent be the right way around to go about it?
I would put your wedding rates up. You know, if you're getting bookings, put your wedding rates up, and you should be able to not work during the week.
Yeah.
I mean, really, a few weddings on a weekend. Whereabouts are you in the country?
I'm Hertfordshire.
Yeah, you should.
What can I put my prices up to?
We'll talk about that after.
Would you say working on a counter, say like Mac, for a few years is more valuable than paying for a course? Do you reckon you learn more?
I did.
I think so.
I think so, because firstly I met some of my best friends there, which is brilliant because they're invaluable, and if you have friends that are makeup artists, you pass work between yourselves, and that's amazing because it's so hard, it's such a cutthroat business, it's hard to find people that are prepared to do that. So I think definitely working for Mac was great for me, and also watching how other artists work. I mean, I learned things off Nick and probably vice versa. But you know, definitely when I used to watch people in that store.
Such different faces every day. You know, obviously when you go to do a shoot, it's normally a model that needs nothing, you just dust her and she looks fantastic. But you're set up for doing anyone, you know, and I think that's what's really helped us.
It helps you, if you can work on a counter like MAC that caters for all skin types, it will make a huge difference, because you go on a course and you might find that everyone on your course has got white skin, and you might leave knowing nothing. And how can you do that? You know, working in MAC is brilliant for that. Or
and you get your application.
Yeah.
So you build up your kit as well, much cheaper, which I think is another massive bonus.
It's kind of what we've already touched on, but I work on a counter at the moment, and it's very much about the sales more than the makeup, very much so, and it's just the people around me don't seem to be that driven, and they seem to be doing it enough to be a makeup artist, and I feel like it's shattering me more than anything. So I don't know.
How many days a week do you work?
Only 3, so I'm skin 2.
It is tough, and it can be really soul destroying. You know, when I first started with MAC, it was all about creativity, and then obviously with competition things have to change, and brands need to, you know, it needs to be about sales. But what I found doing was, every day off, I went and worked elsewhere, doing jobs, free jobs, doing makeup, so that I went back into work and I felt fresh about it, and I was like, oh, I learned this new thing that I want to try out, you know, that I had something else. So I was going into work and it wasn't just about sales, because I'd done the makeup and it was more about going in and learning from other people. So it could be worth, if you've got time, I worked literally 7 days a week when, just before YouTube, we started YouTube, I was full-time supervisor at MAC, and I was working my every day off just to build up a book and just to, you know, get, I don't really know why, just because I needed the money as well. So I would say, yeah, really, if you can, try and do some work outside. Yeah, I think 3 days is pretty good.
I would also say, in some cities, some of the major cities, they have like makeover studios, which are a brilliant idea if you want to do, I mean, you wouldn't want to work there all the time because it's knackering, it's very long hours, but you get to work as a makeup artist for the day. People come in, it's a bit of a conveyor belt, you know, people come in to have their photos taken and you do their makeup and then they get photographed. But once in a blue moon, someone amazing comes in and you get some shots out of it. But even if they don't, you know, you're working as a makeup artist and you're, you know, working on different faces, and it might just give you a different perspective on it.
Hi.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask you about HD ready makeup. I'm considering an airbrushing course at the moment. I've been doing makeup for about 3 years, and I just wondered where you stand on airbrushed HD versus manual, using great technique and great products. You know, is airbrushing the future, or
are you going to do TV?
Potentially.
Then in that case, yes.
Yeah, because there are certain.
Yeah, I mean, in everyday makeup, no, not really. I've never used an airbrush on a shoot or backstage on a fashion show. Well, I have seen them used, but I don't think it's ever going to be a point where it takes over. But I definitely think it's worth it if you're doing TV or film work, for sure. It's the given, you know.
Can you tell us a bit about them in detail, just in case anybody in the room doesn't know?
It's a 5-day course where a basic makeup course. We cover period makeup, because I firmly believe that period makeup is one of the most important things that you will learn in makeup. It's really key to know, you know, who you might go on a shoot and someone will say, right, you know that makeup that Audrey Hepburn wore in, you know, or Greta Garbo or whoever, and if you don't know it, you're really stuck. You need to know your periods. So we cover periods, and we cover trend, bridal.
It's basically a 5-day course that is packed full of everything you could possibly want to know. We have headaches, everyone has headaches.
Abby, you tell them.
Abby did it, of course. Abby did it.
We've both done it.
Oh, yeah!
It's great.
Yeah. It's hard work, it really is.
It's nicer people, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's a good course. Well, we think so. We try to.
Yeah, no, it's a really great course. it's packed full, it's hard work, but to work next to two amazing people makes it so much easier, and they're so helpful, and the contouring technique is amusing, and you learn a lot and you use it and you walk away thinking, right, this is where I'm going. So for anyone that's thinking of doing it, I'd say definitely.
Oh, thanks, Abby.
And what about your makeup inspirations? Who are your favorite makeup artists?
Oh, I'm loving a bit of Andrew Gallagher at the moment. That was Beth Ditto and Jessie J, just because I think it's a bit new, something different.
And he's so super nice.
So nice.
I would say Val Garland, because she's just a ledge. And
Terry Barber.
Terry's great, love Terry.
Alex Box.
And Stefan Moray would probably be my all-time favourite, I would say.
Hello, I have a question. How many pictures should a makeup artist have? Because some people tell me that 3 or 4 or 5 pictures is already enough, but some people tell me that you have to put 10 pictures in or 20 to show that you've done everything and much.
I probably wouldn't have less than 10 in a book. But saying that, 6 amazing shots is better than 10 mediocre ones. Every single book, every single shot in your books should be, brilliant. Don't put fillers in just for the sake of it. If you had 6...
And varied as well.
Definitely. If you have 6 perfect, beautiful shots, it's better than 10 or 12.
You mentioned earlier that you went out and got an agent after you'd put together a book of tests. Do you want to talk a bit about what that process was like and any difficulties you may have had? Or?
Well, I went to the first agent I ever went to see. I didn't realise how unready I was, but this was years and years ago. I went to see this agent, and they were very kind to me. But now I look back, I must have thought, what is this girl doing here? I had nothing but a book practically. And then, when I actually got my agent, she was, I think, maybe the second person I went to see. The first person said, no, you haven't got enough in your book. I went to see, she was kind of like the lower end of agents. Don't go in at the top, because it's absolutely crushing when you go in at the top and you see other people's books and then they compare your book to that. Start with the agents that get the work for Take a Break magazine and all that. Otherwise it can be really soul destroying. Yeah.
Do you feel that you need to be London-based in order to succeed as a makeup artist?
Depends what you want to succeed in, because I think it's quite hard to be a makeup artist of every type, bridal, fashion. I think it's kind of important if you want to do well at it, is to choose which you want to do. And I think bridal is just as good as fashion, probably pays better.
Definitely.
To start off with as well.
I know bridal makeup artists that make double the money of what fashion makeup artists make.
So I really don't think you need to be in London for that, but if you're determined to make it and be the next big makeup artist, then you probably do need to be in London, and you do need to be available for every shot and available for every shoot and available, and probably will spend the first 5 years not making anything, if you're lucky.
Hi, just a quick technical question for your book. Would you say it should be 11 by 14 or 9 by 12? And also, should it be print or digital these days?
11 by 14. It has been the standard for a long time of makeup artist books. But I think it's worth having the hard copy, but it's very rare these days that you really use it. Definitely worth having a digital copy. Thank you.
I'll add to that if I may, because I look at books all the time as beauty editor, and you definitely do want to have a digital, you have to have a web presence, but you should have a hard copy because everybody's screens are calibrated differently, and if people are looking at your work on their computers and their colors off, it's going to reflect poorly on your work. So do always have a hard copy as well so that you can show them exactly how it's supposed to look.